You know, in the energy world, talk is cheap. It's the actual production that really counts. Today, we're doing a serious reality check on U.S. uranium. And believe me, the numbers we found, they tell a pretty startling story.
So, picture this. It's the third quarter of 2025. The American uranium sector gets hit by what you can only call a seismic shock. I mean, production didn't just dip a little. It completely fell off a cliff. We're talking a massive 44% collapse in just 3 months. 90 days. That's it.
And here's the real head-scratcher. This all went down when the market was booming. Demand was up, prices were high, so it makes no sense, right? What on earth happened? Where did all the uranium go? Well, that's what we're here to find out. We're going to follow the data and see where it leads.
All right, let's get right into it and look at the hard numbers. And just to be clear, this wasn't some tiny statistical blip. No, this was a genuine shock to the entire system. And look, this isn't just us guessing. This is the official data coming straight from the U.S. Energy Information Administration. You can see there have always been some ups and downs, but that drop in Q3 2025, whoa, that is one of the sharpest, most severe nosedives we've seen in a long, long time. Okay, let's put some real numbers on this. In Q2, the industry pumped out almost 500,000 pounds. Fast forward just 90 days, and they're struggling to get over 300,000. That means nearly 150,000 pounds of production just vanished in a single quarter. So we've got this huge drop. But what makes it so mind-boggling is that it's the complete opposite of what the industry was telling everyone to expect. This is where we see this huge disconnect between the hype and the reality. So, on one side, you have the story they're selling. Take a look at this from a major player, Uranium Energy Corp. Back in 2024, they're telling investors they have a fully permitted production capacity of 8.5 million pounds a year. I mean, that sounds amazing, right? Super strong. But then you see the reality. That same company, UEC, with its 8.5 million pound capacity, they actually produced just 26,000 pounds. And it's not just them. The whole industry claims it can do over 20 million pounds a year, but the actual utilization rate, a tiny 1.6%. This just hammers home a crucial point. What a company can do on paper and what it actually does are two completely different worlds. So, what's the deal with this giant gap? Why can't they just, flip a switch and get the uranium flowing? Well, the answer isn't in some corporate presentation. It's in the ground itself. It really comes down to three huge problems holding them back. First, a lot of their existing mines are just old. They've been operating for decades and the easy-to-get stuff is gone. Second, there was a big price crash from 2015 to 2020. Nobody invested any money, so now the equipment is falling apart and all the experienced workers have left. And third, even if you get lucky and find a brand new deposit, good luck getting it permitted. It's a nightmare of red tape. And when I say it's a marathon, I'm not kidding. Just look at this timeline for a new project. We're not talking about a quick fix here. From the moment you start collecting data to the day you actually start producing, you're looking at 10, maybe 12 years. It proves you just can't snap your fingers and increase production, no matter how high the price goes. All of this points to a fundamental economic concept called supply elasticity. It sounds complicated, but it's simple. It's just the ability to ramp up production when prices make it worth your while. And the U.S. uranium sector, it's lost it completely. After years of being ignored, it's like a frozen rubber band. You try to stretch it, and instead of expanding, it just breaks. It can't respond. Okay, so production is way down, but why should you care? Why is this a big deal beyond just the industry? Well, it's because this problem cuts right to the heart of the U.S. goal of being energy self-sufficient. And it is so important to get this. That crazy Q3 collapse wasn't a one-off bad quarter. It's a symptom. It's a sign of the deep-seated systemic problems we've been talking about. This chart doesn't show a strong, robust industry. It shows one that's incredibly fragile. And that gap between what's hoped for and what's actually possible, it's not just a gap, it's a chasm. The official government goal is to hit around 10 million pounds a year by 2030. But when you run the numbers based on the real-world problems we've seen, you get a much different picture, something closer to maybe 3 million pounds. That is a massive, massive shortfall. And if you want to boil it all down to one single shocking number, here it is, 2.4%. That's it. That is the tiny sliver of nuclear fuel needed for U.S. reactors that is actually produced in the U.S. The rest, it's all imported. That one number tells you everything you need to know about the scale of this challenge.
Okay, so we've looked at the data, we've seen the problems, we understand the stakes. What's the bottom line here? What's the big takeaway? Well, at the end of the day, the market doesn't lie. It has a way of cutting through the noise. You can have all the fancy PowerPoints, all the rosy projections, and all the permits you want, but like one observer put it so well, the truth is in the ground. And that truth only becomes real when you actually dig the stuff up, process it, and deliver it to a customer. So the way forward, it really requires a change in mindset, from wishful thinking to cold, hard realism. We have to accept that time, not just price, is the biggest hurdle. We've got to start valuing what's actually being produced, not just what's being promised. And any national goals have to be based on what can actually be done in the real world. And that leaves us with this fundamental challenge. Anybody can make a projection. That's the easy part. Actually producing the material? That's the hard part. So the real question for the U.S. isn't about whether we want to be energy independent. It's about whether we have the discipline to actually do the hard work it'll take to close that huge gap between our ambition and our reality.